In this video, we're going to look at solving equations that have both the distributive property and have like terms. So let's go through a little bit of vocabulary. First of all, remember an equation is a mathematical sentence, made up of numbers, variables, and operations. And remember that an equation has an equal sign. So that's something different than an expression. Okay? Remember, terms are the parts that make up our equation. They are separated by operations, by adding or subtracting. And remember that they can be a number, they can be a variable, or they can be the product of numbers and or variables. The product of numbers and variables. And I think it'll make more sense if I just give you some examples. So let me come over here. So if I have the equation 3x plus 4 equals 8. 3x is a term, 4 is a term, 8 is a term. Okay? So see how they're separated by adding or equal sign? Each one of these are terms. It's made up of terms. Remember, like terms are terms that have the same variable part. Terms that have the same variable part. So in this equation I gave you over here, there aren't any like terms. And they have to be on the same side of the equal sign. So notice, yes, we're going to end up putting 4 and 8 together, but right now these are not like terms. Like terms we always put together by adding or subtracting. Let me give you an example. 3x plus 5 plus 2x minus 8 equals 7. Well, 3x and 2x are like terms because they both have an x. 5 and negative 8 are like terms because they're constants. They don't have x's. Notice I don't consider 7 a like term with the 5 and the negative 8 because they're not on the same side of the equal sign. We want when we talk like terms, they have to be on the same side of the equal sign. And then remember, a coefficient is the number part of a variable term. So if you look at the example up above, remember 3 is the coefficient on that variable term. 5 is a constant term. It doesn't have a coefficient. 2 is the coefficient on 2x. And that's important because when we put together like terms, we only have to put together the coefficient and the variable part stays the same. So here's some things to remember when combining like terms. They must have the same variable, or they could have no variable at all. We only add or subtract the coefficient. We don't change the x part or the y part, the variable part. And they must be on the same side of the equal sign. Okay? So remember in our don't call me after midnight, the D stands for distribute, the C stands for combine like terms. And so we haven't been doing that step. And so let's look at combining like terms here. Okay? So in this equation, I went ahead and drew my line down my equal sign. We have no distributive property. There's no parentheses. So now I'm going to look for my like terms on each side. So over here on the left, I have P. This is 1P plus 2P. That makes 3P. And that's it. Those are the only like terms I have over here. And so here is the rest of my equation. And so now we're just ready to solve next. So we distributed, we combined like terms. We don't need to move variables to the same side. Don't call me after. Now we add or subtract. So we're going to cancel out our constant by adding 3. So that gives me 3p equals 9. And now we divide by 3. And we get p equals 3. So the only step we're really adding in right now is that combining like term step. Okay, let's look at number 2. Remember, we want to look for like terms on the same side. So I've got 11w and negative 7w. This would be 11w minus 7w. We look at the sign that's in front of it. So that's 4w minus 9 equals 15. And now we're down to just our regular two-step equation. So now we would add 9. 4w equals 24. Divide by 4. W equals 6. Okay, let's look at number 3. Uh-oh, what have we added in? This time we've got some parentheses. So we are going to have to distribute first. Now notice our 4 only gets distributed to what's in parentheses. 4 times z is 4z. 4 times 5 is plus 20. And then we're going to write the rest of our equation. Okay. Now we're going to look for combining like terms. 20 and 3 this time are my like terms. So this time my like terms are constant terms. 4z stays 4z. 20 plus 3 makes 23 equals 31. Should be super easy now from here. Minus 23. 4z equals 8. Divide by 4. Z equals 2. Okay, last example we're going to do together. Ooh, 2 sets of parentheses. Yikes. Okay, we can do this. So first of all, look, our negative 3 is only going to distribute to the parentheses directly behind it. So this is going to be negative 9 minus, because it's negative 3 times x, 3x. Okay. Now I'm going to do 4 times x, so that's positive 4x. And 4 times negative 6 is negative 24 equals negative 4. Okay, so now let's look for like terms. I've got negative 9 that goes with negative 24. They're both negative, so that makes negative 33. And then I've got negative 3x plus 4x. I'm just looking at my signs, which makes positive 1x. Ooh, this is going to be nice and easy. Now all we have to do is add 33 because it's negative. And we get x equals 29. Okay. I feel like that's wrong, but I think that's right. Okay. 2 on your own. Try these 2 on your own and then check with your teacher in the room to see if you got them correct.